Sameer Commission is a huge report, and the report has recommended many of the points which we are arguing now. Even they suggested amendments to the constitution, because of which Hindus are not getting benefit of Article 25 and 26, while other Christians and Muslims are getting benefit. This dynamics was also studied by the committee, and they made elaborate recommendation how to amend the constitution, because they were great bureaucrats and administrators as well as advocates in the committee of seven, from south to north. One man from Calcutta, one man from Maharashtra, one man from Tamil Nadu. All regions were represented. A good committee made huge recommendations, but there was nobody to follow up. And Nehru died in 1962. It was China war that was the priority. The whole parliament was concentrating on that. Immediately after that, Nehru died, and the C.P. Ramasamy Iyer Commission also died its natural death. After that, according to me, in my knowledge, there is no All India study was made by anybody whosoever. That means for how many? Almost 60 or 58 years now, nobody has studied the condition of Indian temples today. And in Kerala, in 1973, there is another report, that is Kuttikrishnan Menon Commission. He was interested to study. He was Advocate General of Tamil Nadu at that time. After retirement, he was interested in the job of studying Kerala temples and giving recommendation. He gave his recommendation. Uh, Broadly, that is what was implemented in Uttarakhand when they took over 51 temples. Chief Minister being the chairman, and MLAs and other ministers will be the board. They will administer the temple. That was basically some sort of the recommendation made by this Advocate Menon also in 1970. He gave a suggestion that every temple is having a sanketam of 5 or 6 villages around that, and that is the constituency of that temple. Therefore, those people could be the voters as to who should administer the temple. All devotees are welcome. For example, you take a Guruvayur temple. There are 5 or 6 villages around Guruvayur temple, which is called Sanketam. They will democratically elect a committee which will administer Guruvayur temple. But for you and me, we are free to go to Guruvayur just like what we are doing now. Only thing, we will not be administrators of Guruvayur. But this system is limited to Kerala. It is somewhat applicable to Tamil Nadu also, because around some 10, 12 years back, while some excavation was going on near Tirthani. Tirthani is a place where a huge Muruga temple is there, and it is in the border of Andhra Pradesh. It is on the way between Madras and Tirupati. While excavations were going on, they got an earthen pot, which the archaeologists say that it was a ballot box. Some 500 years back, there was democracy in Tirupati, where people use this earthen pot as a ballot box. उसका वो छेद भी है. There is a gap through which you can insert a paper, etc. So they concluded that there was a village panchayat and there was election, and the panchayat and the temple was ruled by these village people. So there is a system by which you can devolve power to the people. You will feel that it's an elaborate system. अरे इतना बड़ा voters list करो, ये करो, वो करो. But just see, I'll speak only in Kerala. There are 11,000 cooperative societies. There are cooperative societies throughout India. Every cooperative society, there is a governing body, and every member is voting separately. We vote for corporation or panchayat, then block panchayat, then Jilla panchayat, then assembly, and Lok Sabha. Then we vote for school and college elections. Then we vote for cooperative societies. Then we vote for Lions Club, Rotary Club. We vote everywhere. Why don't we vote for temple also? Why can't there be a system? Now it is very easy. You have a finger print identification system. Now Shankar Nair suggested that a devotee should be a man who visits the temple at least once in a month. Number two, he must give some offering, at least 5 rupees every year to the temple. This much a devotee has to do, and a devotee register or a computer fed register has to be there to check. And the committee should be not of people without any capability, because thousands of crores of money is flowing, property is there, gold is there, silver, all sorts of things are there. So you need to specify qualification for people, religious as well as secular qualifications, like a chartered accountant. You should, you must know minimum traditions about the temple, as well as you should be a chartered accountant also. You should know what is happening inside the temple and what is the meaning of all these rituals. You have to write a test on that, as well as you have to be an advocate also. This sort of qualification is to be specified, and then you hand over the temple to the people under the supervision of maybe the government or the high courts. And you see, why do you doubt the capacity of Hindus? Arey, kaun karega? You are running big corporate houses, software companies, FMCG companies. You are running everything, and you are afraid of running the temple. इतना बड़ा क्या rocket science है ये? Because there is only income and expenditure. It's very no complication at all. Not like running a company जहां आपका GST है, वो है, ये है, दुनिया भर का हेडेक है. यहाँ ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Only income and expenditure, that's all. You come to Kerala and see people how they elect. There are still temples in Kerala, around 34 temples owned by GSB community. They meticulously prepare their voters list and they vote, they campaign, they affix posters, they conduct meetings, वो झगड़ा करते हैं, केस करते हैं, कोर्ट में जाते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं. This is what is called democracy. And there are independent temples in small villages wherein people just assemble, and based on a consensus they decide on who will rule the temple. अरे इतना बड़ा क्या है? People always get embarrassed by asking, ठीक है गवर्नमेंट से निकाल दिया तो कौन क्या करेगा, कौन देखेगा? See, it's very dangerous. So let it be run by government. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Hindus are quite capable of running their institutions. We are running very big, huge institutions throughout the world. आप ये मंदिर चलाने से क्यों डरते हैं? डरना ही नहीं. Only thing, meticulously sit together, make a scheme, get it approved by the court, and then implement that. Up, nothing so worrisome in this. Now, I'll briefly mention about my case also. See, Travancore Devasam Board is supposed to be an independent body. But the board members, 3 members are there. The board members are appointed by a secular government. This appointment doesn't need any qualification at all. वो जो भी मिनिस्टर है उसके पीछे जो भी घूमता है mostly communist, or while Congress is ruling they will put Congress wala, and this fellow will be corrupt jo bhi hai. The disqualification clause is very weak that one should not be mad, he should not be a criminally convicted man. These are the two conditions. All other people are accepted, and he has to declare that I have faith in God. Now giving a declaration is very easy, just sign a paper and lo, temple tumhara ban gaya. And you know the wealth of Shabarimala, Guruvayur, so many temples, thousands of crores. And now everybody is celebrating Padmanabha Swami temple judgment. I would beg to differ. There is nothing big in that judgment. You see, they have formed a committee in which one of the member is royal family. All other members are, one member is from government of Kerala, one member is from government of India, cultural department. अरे कहाँ गया? You have not freed the temple from government. You have added central government also. पहले state government अब central government से भी एक आदमी आ गया. कल जाके, now people have a feeling that, let me not mince my words. People have a feeling that Narendra Modi is going to rule the country forever, and this is the best ever Hindu government we have. Don't be under that illusion. Politicians are politicians. Uttarakhand में कहाँ गया था? 51 temples were taken over and silently given back. I don't know what happened behind the curtain. So, and you have no guarantee that BJP or RSS will be in power always. Power flows here and there. Sometimes Rahul Gandhi will become prime minister. So he will also send his representative to your Padmanabha Swami temple. तो क्या करोगे? And number two, the committee chairman is the district judge, a Hindu district judge. If district judge is a Christian or Muslim, they will send an additional judge. A Hindu judge will come. Who will have guts to speak in front of a judge? Who will have guts to disagree with him? Because district judge is very near to you. आपने देखा है, you can scold or shout on the topmost policeman in your state. He could be director general of police or state police chief. You can shout on him, कुछ नहीं होगा. But you shout on your nearby police station, a constable, immediate आपको छापड़ पड़ेगा. So you can criticize Supreme Court judge or High Court judge, but it's dangerous to criticize your district judge or a magistrate. It will have serious consequences. तो डरेंगे लोग इनके सामने. They will say that ये ऐसा करो, that's all. Then somebody will say नहीं साहब, ये तो ऐसा करने से मुश्किल होगा. क्या मुश्किल? कुछ नहीं मुश्किल. I have said, no, don't unnecessarily argue. Do what I say. This is the way district judges behave. Inside the court, outside also. You know their style of functioning. So practically, my case is that, my argument is that Padmanabha Swami temple has been handed over to the judiciary. It is not with the government, not with the people, it is with the judiciary now. And in India, judiciary is so smart that they are appropriating every power day by day. Now they have tasted the power in Padmanabha Swami temple. अब आप देखिए बाकी टेम्पल भी one by one the judiciary will take over. Elected people, whosoever they are, will not have any value, and unelected and unelectable people will govern the temples. We will get some temporary relief, but it is not an advisable position. Now, temples were never purely religious institutions in India. It was a societal institution. Our architecture, our music, our cultural programs, our dance, our drama, even our matrimony, our sex, everything is there in temple. You might have seen. People blame us for that. अरे खजुराहो में क्या है, यहाँ ये लगाया, वहां वो लगाया, लगाया है, because it was a societal center. Everything, every function of the society, every segment of the society was living around the temple, and they drew inspiration from temple. Maybe something may be abhorrent in nowadays, but it was good at that time, at that time of India. तो इसमें कुछ गलत बात नहीं है. Every facet of human life you will see in temple. जहां नहीं है वहां नहीं है, लेकिन दूसरी जगह होगा. Everywhere you will see sculptures like this, dance like this, Ghana, everything is incorporated as a festival in some temple or the other. आप देखिए different temple are having different tradition, and we celebrate every tradition. Why? Because we are every individual is different, our propensities are different. Therefore, I can dance with Nikunsha, or I can enjoy music with Tejas, or if I want to enjoy poetry, I can sit with Ranjit. I have every option, and all these things are available in one temple or the other. This was our societal life. वो सब सत्यानाश कर दिया. Not only that, we are being guilt trapped for this. आपने देखा होगा, people guilt trap you. Oh, you were having 4 husbands. Panchali was having 4 husbands. What is the system, etc. These are all trapping you in a guilt that I am Hindu, I have committed so many mistakes or so many sins in my past, etc. Never. You say it was right at that time. Now the Constitution and Hindu Marriages Act is governing me, and I am living according to that. भाड़ में गया तुम्हारा past. Don't try to threaten me telling my past. Every society will have some troubled past somewhere. उसको गिने चुने वो चेरी पिक करके you make it in an order, and then start attacking Hindutva based on अरे मनुस्मृति में ऐसा लिखा है. Do you know Manusmriti was never in practice anywhere in India in full? Some principles were taken from Manu, some from Yajnavalkya, some from Jimutavahana. This is the way it was running. So nobody should emotionally blackmail us by showing our past or cherry picking few incidents in our past. Every religion, every society will have some stray incidents in their past which cannot be justified. ठीक है, जो हो गया. Now let us move forward. Let us free our temples so that our society is mentally free and we enjoy our life. It is not that we continue with a difficult life. Every day there are tensions. अरे मेरा मंदिर लेके गया, अरे मेरा लड़की लेके गया, लव जिहाद हो गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. We in fact we deserve a better prosperous life. Every Hindu deserves a better prosperous proud life, and we should fight for that. That is my idea, and that is my humble suggestion or submission as a start. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Uh, Before taking questions, I just want to say VHS was started under the guidance of Dr. Subramaniam Swami
We
and
can't
is the
hear you.
president. Uh,
Louder, louder.
so,
Louder, please.
okay, can you hear me?
If you
Yes.
are using that
Yeah, can you hear
eyepiece,
me?
remove that and speak directly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. VHS was started under the guidance of Dr. Subramaniam Swami and is the president of Virat Hindustan Sangam at present. So now we take questions from the speakers initially, and I will move from from the followed by speakers, and below that from the others in the room. It will continue till another 30-35 minutes, so that we will take one by one questions. And please, if there are any questions in the speakers, you can ask Dr. Mohandas.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
thank you for the
Sagar.
enlightening talk, sir, first of all. My name is Sagar.
Yeah, go on, Sagar.
Okay, thank you. Mohandas, sir, thank you for the enlightening talk. I have one small question, sir. Before the temple used to get constructed by like kings and all used to order it, and they used to choose specified places and all. And now, presently, we see in every gully, street, or even in the ground and all, they'll construct one small temple. Later, they'll develop it. Can you throw some light on it, like how to develop it and all for the present day?
See, there are local state level restrictions for building religious institutions. That is sweeping regulations on Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Parsis, or whosoever it is. It's a secular legislation. So people must check up with the district collector and then construct the temple. Otherwise, you may land up in legal problems. Once it is permitted, then nothing wrong in constructing a temple.
Thank you, sir.
Next question, please.
Mohandas ji, uh, hope you can hear us.
Yeah, Swami,
Bolo,
we can hear you.
Okay. Um, First of all, thanks for highlighting the role of Jawaharlal Nehru in terms of bringing up a temple reforms. Second thing is with respect to the gold which is in Padmanabha Swami temple. Is it something which is from the north? It has been taken over and kept as a protection or something like it. Do we have any records of that sort? Is that why the court has appointed a government official and also the king of the to take care of it?
eh, the committee is taking care of the security of the deposited gold also. Okay. Now, how the gold came is another question, a historical question. Around 3.5 lakhs of records are there in Padmanabha Swami temple, which nobody has written in, read in full. Some historians, it's very difficult. It is some old language in which it is written. In palm leaves, it is written. It is very difficult, tough task. Unless some specific amount is reserved for that, you will not get people to do this laborious task free of cost. If you read all those palm leaves, you will get some idea how this gold was accumulated. Number two, because Tipu's attack was in 18th century, around 1785 to 92, that period. So it's very difficult to understand. Number two, You go through all the High Court records of Kerala High Court, you will find that from central Kerala onwards, there were so many treasures obtained while doing maintenance jobs in temples, in Hindu temples. There is a Treasure Trove Act in India. According to that, whatever treasure you get from the underground, it automatically belongs to the temple, and you have to immediately inform the district collector and he will take over the wealth. Now, so many temples in the central and south of Kerala has handed over this type of jewelry and gold to respective district collectors. So many people have claimed it back, and therefore the cases landed up in High Court. And if you go to High Court records, that is how I found this. Many of the High Court records are full of this type of cases. That so and so temple versus state of Kerala, so and so temple versus district collector Ernakulam, etc. They are claiming it back, but the court is always favoring the government, and it goes to the government treasury. So, connecting all the dots, what I feel is that there is justification in my oral history as to how this gold deposit become too much in Padmanabha Swami temple and too little or nothing in Malabar area.
Thanks for enlightenment, Mohandas.
Mohandas ji, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. Please, you go on.
Yeah, okay. Mohandas ji, you started your speech by saying that the architecture in Delhi is very different from the architecture in the south. Okay. This was primarily because of the fact that, hello, was it because that the temples in the north were destroyed by the Mughals, or was it that there was never an ecosystem that was built in the north with respect to a temple?
See, there was a northern type of architecture and southern type of architecture. Nothing wrong in that. But there was vast destruction of temples in the north. That is why I told you there were 45 temples which are not to be seen at all now around Somnath temple in Gujarat. There were around 76 temples not to be seen now in Kashi. There were more than 100 temples now not seen in and around Mathura. So, North India was equally full of big temples like South India once upon a time. But North suffered too much under Islamic invasion. South did not suffer that much because though South was invaded by Islam, they could not continue their stranglehold hold for various reasons. Therefore, the damage, though was done, it was partial and temporary. It was immediately restored. But in North, it was devastated fully, so that there is no trace at all. Now, you see, there is a masjid near the Qutub Minar that is called Quwwatul Islam. It is called a masjid, but you go inside, and even now tourism is permitted. You go inside, you will see so many broken idols. Now, our retired Assistant Director of Archaeological Survey of India, K.K. Mohammed, openly admitted that he said, ASI, it is under ASI now, the mosque is under ASI. They said ASI very well know that this mosque is constructed from the remnants of not one, but 28 temples. A full mosque was constructed by the debris of 28 temples. Not even one brick fresh was used for that mosque. It is very close to Qutub Minar. That imagine the devastation caused by Islam in North. South was lucky. South में इतना बड़ा क्या हुआ है? इतना इन्वेशन नहीं हुआ है. After that, East India Company and British had an oppressing system but they didn't directly destroy the temples. They were just using temples as a milk cow, so that they get a recurring income from the temple, and which they can enjoy. Islam was not that. Islam was entirely different. That is why the devastation from, from Punjab to almost near Assam, you can see. Assam, there was a Ahom dynasty which fought with Islam. Islam could not capture that area, northeastern part. Islam could not destroy that much. Therefore, if you go to Assam, there are big temples, Shiv Sagar, Gauri Sagar, very beautiful names. You would love staying there merely because the place is called Gauri Sagar. So this is the situation. So South was lucky that way, and North was absolutely unlucky. It was devastated by Islam.
Thank you, Mohandas ji. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I have a comment and a question. Can I speak?
Sir, we will go through PTR order. That means pull to refresh order. Swami has asked a question. Next, we will move to the next Gurudat. If he has any questions, then we'll move in that order,
Yes.
sir.
Namaste, sir. I had a question that in Twitter there was a tweet by BJP during the elections of these 5 states during the election of Tamil Nadu, that after freeing the temples from the government control, they wanted to make a committee like national committee to manage the temples. Whether this is under the control of this committee comes under the control of government, or as you said in today's speech, as like lawyers and CAs who have both qualification in temples and profession, how this could be uh, made, sir?
Arey, chodo na, you are going by some manifesto of BJP or non-BJP parties.
Yes.
उसमें बहुत कुछ लिखा रहता है. Let me ask you one question. In 2018, BJP said we will bring a legislation to overcome the difficulties posed by Supreme Court in Sabrimala. कुछ हुआ है आज तक? तो
Sir.
ये don't go by manifesto of political parties. This is my humble request that politics में कोई कुछ बोल देते हैं वोट के लिए. They are not serious about such things. See, I have started this freeing temple case from 2015. No politician worth his salt supported me except Dr. Swami. Dr. Swami was kind enough to fly to Kochi with his own expenses. He argued in favor of me. He happily agreed to be a supporting respondent. And then in Supreme Court, he is the leading petitioner. I am the supporting petitioner now. कोई किसी ने पूछा तक नहीं हमसे कि भाई क्या चल रहा है, क्या हो रहा है तुम्हारा केस में. I never asked money or anything from any politician or any leader, but at least one phone call कि भाई क्या हो रहा है हाई कोर्ट में. Some big advocates are coming, Dr. Swami is coming. What is happening there? At least ये तो पूछना चाहिए, वो तक नहीं है. So I don't expect any politician except Dr. Swami, if at all he can be called a politician. Dr. Swami is an exceptional politician in India. That is why he is not much popular among the run-of-the-mill politicians. We all know that. लेकिन don't go by this manifestos and speeches during elections. वो सब कुछ बोलते हैं, करते कुछ नहीं है.
Thank you, sir.
Mohandaji, I have one question. So, in order for us to revive the Hindu temple ecosystem, if I ask you like list 5 or 10 priorities, first 10 priorities, so that we can revive the Hindu temple ecosystem, what you would like to tell all the viewers?
The task is very huge. First, you release it from government control, and there are demands that certain temples should be taken over by government. That also should be understood. They are also Hindus. See, the administration of temple flows as a inverted V shape. First, from the trustees and individuals, it goes to the government, and then it comes back to the devotees. This is how the power flows. So when people initially want their temple, they want the government to take over the temple and then hand over to us. Just like a land, first the government takes over the land and then distributes it to the kisans. Likewise, temples also first taken over by the government and then distributed to the devotees. Therefore, don't get surprised when some people say that ये मंदिर तो ठीक नहीं चल रहा है, इसको government should take it over. Because ultimately, this man wants his control over the temple back to him. The route is through government. You cannot go and fight with an individual or a trustee of a temple. Who are you to fight with him? You don't have a right to say that your administration is wrong. You cannot go to court against a private temple. You can go to court only against public temple. Therefore, first you have to make the temple public, for which the government has to take it over and then demand it back from government. So therefore, like land, the administration of temple also first goes to the government, then it has to come back to people. Therefore, don't get surprised when somebody says that नहीं government के साथ ही रहने दो. Only thing, he is not confident of taking over his temple. बस इतना मतलब है उसका, इसका ज्यादा नहीं है. Don't fight with such people. They are sincere Hindus who are not confident to administer their temple. You give them confidence, one day they will ask for their temple. तो ये हालत है. I don't know whether I have answered your question.
Yes, Mohandaji. Also, I just wanted to know, what all things other on the individual basis or other things which currently Hindus are lacking to do, which due to which our ecosystem is there is no ecosystem for Hinduism currently, because everybody has something that we want to take the temple under government control, something generally we should not have the temples taken by the government or administered by them. So what do you think other parameters or other things we need to make so that we have a solid ecosystem of Hinduism?
There are a lot of things to be done. Nobody can do it through a magic wand. Your educational system has to change drastically. Your history, which is presently being taught, which divides north and south as Aryas and Dravidas, all that bullshit. All those things have to be removed from the syllabus. Even today, that is being taught in schools. Even in CBSE schools, state-wise, okay, ruling party may be interested in interpreting history in that manner. But how does the center gives out such a signal that you are Dravida and he is Aryas oppress Dravidas, etc., etc. So this type of teaching also must end, and Hindu must regain his confidence first. Now Hindu feels he is helpless in front of Muslim or Christian. Now Mahatma Gandhi once said, every Muslim is a bully and every Hindu is a coward. No, these are words from Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. We underrate Gandhi sometimes. Let me add one more point. Show me one politician in the history of India who boldly said, I am a Sanatani Hindu, except Mahatma Gandhi. He was the only man who declared, I am a Sanatani Hindu. In bracket, the rest can go to hell. That was Mahatma Gandhi. And Mahatma Gandhi said, every Muslim is a bully, every Hindu is a coward. You may disagree with him on various political decisions. Politics is such a fast moving thing that everybody commits a blunder in politics. Because morning you take a decision, evening you look like a fool because the situation has changed. So it's very easy to blame a politician for his political blunder. But you look at cultural Gandhi, he has helped Hindus too much. Too much. Now, even communists accuse that Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Patel facilitated the growth of RSS in India. And that is how all this Hindu awareness started. You can blame RSS on various counts, but no doubt from 1925, they are working towards increasing the level of confidence of Hindus, which was done by Balasaheb Thackeray also. And unfortunately, his son has deserted all that ideas because of political ambitions. Or kya hai? Otherwise, all these leaders, they contributed to the pride of the Hindu society. Once you are confident, डरे हुए आदमी से कुछ भी करवा सकते हैं, कॉन्फिडेंट आदमी से आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, मार सकते हैं उसको, लेकिन कुछ गलत काम करवा नहीं सकते हैं. You can kill somebody if you have a revolver, okay, shoot Nikunj Shah, बस मर गया. But when Nikunj Shah is alive, howsoever you persuade him or cajole him, offer him crores of rupees, he will never cheat Hindutva. That is character. So we must have Hindus with national character. I am standing with the temples not because I'm a too much religious man going every day to temple. Many of you might have seen me. Have you ever seen a tilak on my forehead? Have you ever seen a tilak on Jagdish Shetty ji's or Dr. Swami said? कभी कभी कोई लगाता है. ऐसा नहीं कि I hate tilak. But more than religious, I'm a national Hindu. And all these temples are required to protect our nation, our pride. We need a Ram temple, not for going to Ayodhya and worship there, but it is a matter of national pride. नहीं तो हमारा क्या है? I have several Ram temples in Kerala. Nikunj has several Ram temples in Bangalore. Jagdish ji ko wahan, there are so many Ram temples there. All we people have our own Ram temples in our vicinity. But we fought for Ram temple. Why? Because it is a matter of national pride. Therefore, our temples are required not only for a religious purpose, it is required for societal purpose, it is required for national purpose, and that is how our nation survives. It is not, our survival is not hinged on temple. ऐसा नहीं कि टेम्पल गया तो हिंदू गया, ऐसा भी नहीं है. That is also explained by Dr. Ambedkar, which I referred earlier. Ambedkar said why Hindus were not. Hello.
Yes, sir. You can go on.
कुछ कुछ एको जैसा आ रहा है.
हाँ एको हो रहा है सर.
वो क्यों हो रहा है पता नहीं.
Sir,
नहीं, it's
can I
stopped
ask
now.
a question?
Pawan, we will come to you.
Anyway, I think that makes the point, because
Yes, Mohandas.
it's not that all our Hindutva is resting on temples. एक बार टेम्पल डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया, हिंदू डिस्ट्रॉय, ऐसा नहीं है. नॉर्थ में आप देखिए जितने टेम्पल डिस्ट्रॉय हो गए, लेकिन हिंदू डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं हुआ. So temples are not the whole soul foundation of Hindutva, but it definitely matters, and therefore I am fighting for temples.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Mohandas.
Okay.
Namaskaram,
Before
sir.
going,
Yeah,
before
so I have
yeah,
one
Pawan, go
question.
on.
Yeah, I have one question. So, firstly, thank you for giving out such an elaborate understanding of what the ecosystem of temple Hinduism is and how temples are a major part of that. I have one question. This is a legal question. So, I think you're aware of C. Rangarajan, who is head priest of Chilkur Balaji Temple here in Hyderabad. So, he started this movement by petitioning even the President of India, asking that temples, deities be given fundamental rights and deity rights. So, how do we take this forward, and and how does that help the legal cause of freeing temples from government control? This is my question. Thank you.
In my opinion, this type of giving memorandum or asking fundamental rights for deity, etc., is not going to work. Your temples are not in your control, not because deity has no fundamental right. Tomorrow, say, I'll speak to President of India or Prime Minister of India, and they declare hereafter deities will have fundamental rights also. What difference it is going to make? You will go with a writ petition to the High Court. That's all. No? अरे इसके पीछे मत जाओ. Show your might on the road. Show your unity on the road. Then all politician courts, everyone is afraid of people's power. Your constitution, in which all these things are written, fundamental rights, etc., that is chapter 3. How the constitution starts? It starts with we the people. Is it not? People are supreme. If we are united, we need not go and beg with President of India or stand in front of High Court and pray for relief, etc. I know all these technical terms, fundamental right, etc. ये सब I don't think it's a viable solution. Deity को fundamental right मिल गया तो इतना बड़ा क्या हो गया? Deity will be subject to Indian Penal Code also. Is it not? Whether a magistrate can summon the deity? If you have a fundamental right can be given to a existing being only. It cannot be given to an imaginary thing. तो आपको जब आपको अच्छा लगता है तो फंडामेंटल राइट होना, जब बुरा होगा तो फंडामेंटल राइट नहीं होना, ऐसा चलेगा क्या? This is all complicated legal problems. So, I would prefer not to enter into such type of things. Don't behave like what Indian National Congress was initially behaving with British. कि भाई give a memorandum, appeal to the Privy Council, appeal to the Queen, saying that we are also equal. Are we not human beings? Please show mercy to us. Please treat us equal to Muslims and Christians. Ours is also a good religion, etc., etc. Don't go to this begging mode. Unite unite and stand. That's all. Everybody will fall in line. You need not ask for anything. लोग पूछ के आएंगे. सब कुछ होना है. चाय, कॉफी, पूरी भाजी, fundamental right क्या होना आपको? Because you are united. Your might will send such a signal that all politicians, all courts, everybody will stand with you. Otherwise, आप कितना भी रोते रहो, कोई नहीं देखेगा आपको.
Thank you, sir. That answers my question.
Okay,
Namaste, sir.
next, Pranil. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, sir. This is Prani. So I have one question regarding what you said about public and private temples, where you said that when government takes over a temple, the intent is to make it public, and then it kind of then later when it is let's say returned, it returned to a private property. Um, but would you not say that, let's say, even if a temple, even if it got donation from Maharaja, the donation was actually going to the deity, right? So would a view where you say that the temple is actually a private property of the sampradaya, irrespective of whether it got funds from a public institution or not, is that not the view that we should have when we ask for temples to be given back to us, than allowing a wait for someone to say that a temple can be made public?
These are all legal arguments. We are speaking about ecosystem, whether temple property belongs to the deity or to the Shebayat or to the manager. Is all these are legal questions, and there are so many judgments in favor of you and against you also. Right from Shirur Mutt judgment in 1954 up to S.P. Gupta judgment in 1978, you will get different or bizarre answers by Supreme Court for the problems which you have raised. What we are discussing is about an ecosystem, a Hindu ecosystem to be created, wherein all these small or complicated legal matters will just vanish into thin air. If you are united and show your might to the society, to the politicians, then everything will fall in line. The rest of the thing, if I start answering your question, I have to quote elaborate judgments, etc., which I think not, which will not, in the fitness of things, it is not fitting in this discussion. We may call for another discussion on the legal aspects, जो भी अब चल रहा है. What is denomination? What is deity's right? Whether deity have fundamental right, etc., etc. All those legal aspects can be discussed some other time. I don't think now it is relevant. Pardon me if I am wrong.
No, no problems. Understood. Yeah.
Okay. Before going to Mr. L, sorry, Ranjit has got one question. Please, Ranjit, you can ask.
Mohandas ji, this is again related to the temple money. A couple of years ago, and you mentioned that some politician in Kerala, he mentioned that a single Naya Paisa is not going from temple to the government. And I think through some RTI, some information came out where it said money was actually going to the government. Can you please elaborate for the benefits of the listeners who are not in not aware of this matter?
See, politicians and ministers befool people like anything. In the Kerala Religious Institutions Act 1950, it is clearly written that the monies received from temple shall be deposited either in a scheduled bank or in the state treasury. This is what is written in the act. And minister says that no, we have not taken any money to the treasury. अरे act में लिखा है तुम्हारे act में. And if you have not taken money to the treasury, that is the mistake. And you know, there is no balance sheet at all. I challenge everybody. आप बोलते हैं कि मैंने पैसा नहीं लिया. Show me the audited balance sheet. That is the evidence of that statement. अरे ये तो अलमीरा आपके पास में है, कैश आपके पास में है, चाबी आपके पास में है, और आप बोलते हैं कि मैंने पैसा नहीं लिया है. किसको मालूम? आपने खोल के दिखाओ ना, ऑडिट करके दिखाओ ना. The Travancore Cochin Devasam Board audit is being done by various agencies and it is trailing for the past 8 years. 8 साल से ऑडिट नहीं हुआ है. 8 साल का पुराना ऑडिट अब कुछ तो चल रहा है. And I got audit report. One is running 2,400 pages, another is running 600 pages. उसमें clear cut उन्होंने लिखा है there is a clear mismanagement. अब बैंक में कितना पैसा है, they have shown some bank balance, but बैंक में जाके देखो there is more money than what is shown in the record. कोई दूसरे बैंक में there is less money than shown in the record. ट्रेजरी में पैसा क्या उसका रिकॉर्ड है ही नहीं. गवर्नमेंट बोलता है हमने 40 करोड़ दे दिया बोर्ड को, तो उसका रिसिप्ट तो होना चाहिए. ठीक है, 40 करोड़ बोर्ड को दे दिया या टेम्पल को दे दिया, टेम्पल मस्ट इश्यू अ रिसिप्ट. दिस मनी शुड अपीयर समवेयर इन द अकाउंट्स. कुछ नहीं है. और हवा में बात करते हैं कि हमने पैसा नहीं लिया. This is what is, it's all utter cheating what is going on. And no politician, in fact, not even BJP politicians are interested in such things. They also agree, नहीं नहीं हाँ वो तो ठीक है, आपने मंदिर से पैसा तो नहीं लिया, but your management is not ठीक नहीं है वगैरह. So nobody want to go into the details so that you can confront this robbers. It is absolutely not only in Kerala. You take Tamil Nadu. क्या हो रहा है? But every temple is being drained out of cash, property, everything. It is a sad story. Probably my friend T.R. Ramesh will be able to tell you in detail. Call him for another press club exclusively. The fantastic fight he is putting against the might of government of Tamil Nadu is worth listening. I would strongly recommend that you call him for a clubhouse. सब सड़ासड़ झूठ बोलते हैं. कोर्ट का जो ये ऑर्डर आता है, दे डोंट केयर अबाउट कोर्ट. आप क्या करोगे? यू विल गो विथ ए कंटेम्प्ट पिटिशन टू द कोर्ट. वो वहां पड़ा रहेगा, because to admit a contempt petition you need approval from the advocate general. That is the procedure. Advocate general, he will keep it with him for 1 or 2 years, and then finally he will reject it. With that rejection, you go for an appeal with the division bench saying my application was rejected. Kiska application? For proceeding for contempt of court of not implementing an order. तो इतना पुराना हो जाएगा, by the time your contempt petition reaches the bench, the issue will be 6 years or 7 years old. This is how people loot temple. And I must say that no politician or constitution or law has hollowed temples than high courts and Supreme Court in India. They have, with their interpretations, their judgments, they have allowed looting of Hindu temples in India indiscriminately. I can give you examples, reams and reams of Supreme Court judgments and High Court judgments which favored the loot indirectly by sanctioning and interpreting the constitution and statewide laws to suit the ruling party, whosoever it is. It's not politics. It is some sort of vengeance of Indian judges against Hindu temples. You can see almost every judgment goes against Hindu society. I'm not saying that they are partial. It is another ecosystem within the court that if a Hindu approaches you with a grievance, give a judgment against him. The mind is set in such a way that they enjoy troubling Hindu society. This is the problem with the High Court and Supreme Courts. That is why I accuse them of destroying temples more than the politicians or the governing bodies.
So, can I ask a question?
Okay.
Can I ask the next question, please?
Yeah,
Hello.
ma'am. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mohandas ji. It was a very riveting experience.
I request everyone to mute yourselves. Ma'am, you go on, please.
Yeah. Mohandas ji, my question is, as of now, we know the issues, corrupt bureaucracy, judiciary lacking in norms and
Volume
all this.
went
We know
down,
all
madam.
these issues. So is my question is, as of now, the major issue what we have is the distinction between the Hindus as cultural and nonchalant Hindus. And I did had the opportunity to attend TRRG's. There was a seminar which is now on YouTube where he has mentioned about the land issues with Tamil Nadu government and how he was able to get it back, and we got the ruling also favoring that. So that seemed to work. But the point is, many of the big ashrams in India still have a cold feet on this. So is it possible for you or Subramanya Swamiji and TRRG to persuade the ashrams? Like we have seen in Kerala, when the issue came up, when the saffron actually got on the street, it worked. And the issue, even though it was from a Supreme Court ruling, it got backtracked. So if all the ashrams, all the Shankaracharya's mutt, all the major ashrams, all the akhadas come together and put it, I think we should be able to nudge the BJP government to help us, because if not anything else, at least they are not anti-Hindu like the remaining parties which already exist in the country. So is there some way that we can mobilize that? Number two question is, how do this cultural Hindus make this secular, nonchalant Hindus aware of the issues of the Hindus? These people seem to be totally, not at all bothered about this issue. They just go on with their merry life and they feel that everything is going to fall in place. There are many homes where that cultural values have completely disappeared. It is just, practical applications, or just focus on education and all those things, which is good one way, but at the same time the essence of a cultural Hindu has completely evaporated from the society. So how do we bridge that gap, and how do we nudge all these ashrams to come together into this? Thank you.
Question number one. There is already a movement going on, knitting all these ashrams together. In fact, there is one All India Sabha, of which legal advisor, in which there are 166 acharyas sit together. That is a dharmacharya. Out of these 166, there are huge ashrams and small ashrams also, as well as individual avadhutas. They don't have an ashram, but they are worshipped by lakhs of people. They just walk in the street, people gather around them. ऐसा भी लोग हैं जिनका कुछ नहीं है, because they are real sannyasis. They don't own even an ashram. जहां गए वहां सोए, कि जहां क्या मिला वो खाए, ऐसे लोग. So total 166. They had several rounds of meetings. They are continuously in touch with each other. And Dr. Swami is also not only their advisor, he is as good as a member of that Acharya Sabha. And there are so many other movements going on. Jaggi Vasudev is moving in this direction. So many people are moving. Moving a society, especially Hindu society with the different ideas, will take some time. Oh, that is the time which is being taken. So it is going to happen one day. Your question number two is about cultural, religious, or traditional values. Never worry too much about that. Have some faith in the coming young generation. We should never think that Hinduism is going to extinct. देखो वो चला गया, ये चला गया, ऐसा कर रहे थे वो अब नहीं कर रहे हैं और दूसरा कुछ कर रहे हैं वगैरह. Rather generational anxieties. We feel that हम अगर मर जाएंगे तो हिंदूस मर जाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं है. Your coming generation is smarter than you. They will take over from you silently and they will carry forward Hindutva. अरे कितने सालों से कितने लोगों ने देखा. How there were physical as well as psychological attacks against Hinduism for thousands of years. है ना? We had 800 years of slavery in Islam. Then around 200 years, Christians played their cards. But still we are 80% or at least 76% in India. So have a faith in the future generation. कुछ नहीं होगा. Traditions will change. Sometimes even basic values may change. But Hindu will survive. तो डरने की कोई बात नहीं है.
Thank you, sir.
I have one
Okay,
question.
before
I have a question. Sorry.
one second, Mr.
Hello.
Ram, Mr. Ram, once again, one second. Before going for the next question, I request all of you to follow this club,
Hello,
VHS India. Ram, I'll come back to you.
am
I
I not
request all of you
audible?
to.
You're audible,
Sir, you
sir.
are audible. You are audible. I request everyone to follow this VHS India club, and also I request if you are
रंजित क्या
interested
हो
to
गया?
join VHS India, you can join VHS India through vhsindia.org. Okay,
Yeah, I have a question,
sir.
Raghavendra.
Yeah. Can I?
Uday
Yeah,
here.
who is? Yeah, Mr. Ram, please go on.
Yeah. 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 Hello, sir. Mohandas ji. Thank you for this session. My question is related to your case in Supreme Court. To try to free the temple. So you mentioned that the attitude of the judges and the politicians as well as the media is against the Hindus and our temples and rituals. And in this background, with this back.
One moment. I think Mohandas ji is having a technical issues. We don't see him
Yeah,
on the screen.
Okay.
let him. You check, Ranjit. Can you check that? Can you check with him?
Yeah.
We will wait for some seconds.
Okay.
And
I have a question too,
you,
Raghavendra. Just
yeah, I'm following the PTR, sir. PTR means pull to refresh.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Raghvel, you can call out the names to who they can put up the questions. Just a
No,
suggestion.
I will. There is a hand raised there below. You can
Yeah.
raise the hand for asking the questions. I can provide you the mic, or the
Okay.
moderators can provide you the mic. Probably we will. I will switch off this hand raise after 10 minutes after Mohandas joining is. Whoever wants to ask the questions, please raise the hands.
Okay.
It's already almost 1.5 hours now. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Ranjit, can you check with Mr. Mohandas? Okay. We had Satya Sabharwal here. I guess he here still. I don't
Uh,
think so. No,
he.
he has left.
Yeah, I spoke to him. His phone has some issues, and he's trying to connect again.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
In the meanwhile, can I just get a clarification on this session?
Yeah. Please, Uday.
No, I mean, what he has mentioned is basically it has to be taken over in a democratic form. Am I right? In a sense, like we should go on the street and be together and then seek for the right to run the temple.
Ranjit. Ranjit, can I answer that? Oh, probably. Wait, sir. I was busy in moderating, right? So probably someone
No,
who
anyone, yeah,
was.
anyone is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, he was saying community to come together and not to be in not in a breaking or demanding mode. So get together, be proactive, and be aggressive, and get what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think sir is back.
Sir is back.
Okay. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Now I
Yeah.
can hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, moderators, for the patience. So yeah, I think my question
Did
is regarding your.
did I answer both questions of that lady?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You did, sir.
Yes, sir. Now you have a question from Satish Sarma ji.
No, Ram
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So,
Can
hello,
Mr.
sir. So, my question is regarding your case with along with Dr. Subramanya Swamy fighting in the Supreme Court again to liberate our temples. And you mentioned that the judges, politicians, and even the media to some extent is against our temples and rituals. So, in this background, I would like to understand your thoughts and your personal opinions, based on the experience till now, because this particular case had been delayed, or maybe forcefully delayed by the government and the judiciary. So, what are your thoughts around that? Actually, I would like to understand your personal opinions of this case, because the judges are against us, right? In a way. Thank you.
See, my comment on the judiciary should be seen in a larger context. I'm not making any comment on any individual judge. There is an ecosystem in the judiciary which is against Hindus, which is prevailing for the past several years. Now, coming to my case, it's not delayed. Generally, in Supreme Court, a case takes 6 to 7 years. An appeal from the, High Court will take 6 to 7 years to get listed, unless some emergency can be shown. Now, I am questioning the constitutionality of an act which was passed around 70 years ago. So there is no urgency. I cannot claim that it's an urgent matter. Please decide today itself. They will say that you were suffering it for 70 years. Ab kya ho gaya tumko? So there is no emergency. And now, because of the shutdown period, again it is delayed. There is no proper hearing going on except in urgent matters in Supreme Court. That too through through Zoom connection, some platform they are using. Therefore, the case may get further delayed. So, and one thing I am sure, when the court physical hearing starts, Dr. Swami is planning to make a special mention, saying that it has gone beyond all limits. Now, let us hear it and finish it off. And definitely the judges will list it. With that hope, I am waiting. I hope by August, September, this corona situation, in fact, it should be called Wuhan virus. This Wuhan Chinese virus will take a different course at least, so that we can join together, have physical meetings, and therefore the court will also one day list the matter. I am not expressing or casting aspersion on any individual judge. I knew the importance of what I am speaking. I knew that I am speaking in a public platform. I knew that Clubhouse can be recorded. And I know that some pressmen also could be there in this discussion. And I know the capacity of creating controversy by the press, especially if they catch Mohandas in their hand. They are waiting to hang me on some case or the other. Therefore, what I said is what I said, but that is not against any individual judge or sitting or retired judge. I am speaking about the ecosystem prevailing in the high courts and Supreme Courts. There are honorable exceptions also. So don't get disheartened by my comments on judiciary. Or you will not get justice from High Court. अगर justice नहीं मिलेगा तो मैं क्यों जाऊंगा court? I have faith in judicial system. That is why I have gone. But there is generally an ecosystem which is not in favor of Hindus. That is my point.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and good
Once,
luck with this particular case.
So can I ask my question?
uh, hold a second. Mr. Sushil is in the line. Mr. Sushil, please, you can go. Ask the
Uh,
question.
thank you, sir. And it is a very detailed explanation by Mohandas ji. So thank you. Can you hear me? Am I clear, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. Ask your question.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So,
No introduction is required. Straight away
no, no,
ask the question.
that's fine, sir. So, my two things. One is, you already mentioned T.R. Ramesh, who I follow intermittently on the news. Are you in and individuals such as yourself forming a coalition to work across states for freeing the temples? Because he, like you rightly said, he's done phenomenal work in Tamil Nadu with fighting against the HRCE. uh, have yourself and individuals such as yourself, because I've read reports of reclaiming of temples in Malabar, especially Malappuram, which have been taken over by certain Muslim organizations, and these have been recovered judicially successfully. That's my only question.
As on date, there is no interstate connection or any formal platform to interact. But definitely, I'm in touch with TR Ramesh, or TR Ramesh is in touch with me on legal matters. क्या करना क्या नहीं करना वगैरह. I had been to Bangalore under invitation from my friend Nikunj, Gopi, Ranjit, other people once. We also had an elaborate discussion on how to proceed, what to do, what not to do, etc. Interactions are going on, but we don't have a formal body that will which will go and fight everywhere. इतना नहीं हुआ है. Or
From a
if
contribution
the
point of view, sir, if
need
you can
arises,
contribute.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Every Hindu can contribute to a cause, whether legal or otherwise. Sometimes I understand my Bangalore friends. They take a legal fight. At the same time, they do several things like cleaning a temple or facilitating the devotees. ऐसा काम भी करते हैं. While I'm taking up only legal cases, I don't go to temple cleaning or this type of service jobs. But in Bangalore, my friends are doing that. Is it not a great thing to do? So, therefore, we don't have a formal platform, okay, and we have a platform VHS, which it's only, online interaction is possible now, but we were meeting quite often together, discussing things, getting directions from Dr. Swami, and moving around. इतना है. और बड़ा करने से और अच्छा होगा.
Okay. So, Ranjit, do you have any announcement before taking the next question?
Yes, I have a small announcement. Like Das just said, we will have a separate clubhouse talk on all the legal cases that is going on to recover or restore the temple. So we will announce that in a due time. Thanks.
Okay, keep following this club. We will announce it very soon. Okay, next, Mr. Mayur, you can go for the question.
Sir, thank you for allowing me to speak. And recently, I saw some videos of an advocate. I'm not remembering. He's doing a lot of good work for freeing the temples. So my suggestion is that a lot of states are doing it in a state-to-state basis. I'm from the legal field, but I have not practiced much in the Supreme Court. My question is whether PI can be filed common for all the Hindu temples across the nation instead of looking at it just from the state angle, like say for example Tamil Nadu or
Yeah, I guess
common
he has
PI
got.
can be filed on that aspect.
Mayurji, we couldn't hear
देखो,
your question properly. Sir, could you
yeah,
hear,
I
sir?
understood his question. I
Okay, sir,
understood his
please.
question. I will
Yes, sir.
answer that. देखो, common cases are not possible because it's not a common law which is governing every state. Some states does not have any law at all. I think Uttarakhand didn't have a statewide law. That was made and taken over by that BJP government. Subsequently, they reversed the decision. कुछ जगह एक्ट है, कुछ जगह एक्ट नहीं है. So situation is different everywhere. In Kerala, it is Devasam board. There are three Devasam boards: Travancore, Kochi, and Malabar. The act is similar, but it is separate. In Tamil Nadu, you have HRNC, that is Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment Act. It is like a government department. They cannot take independent decisions. Every decision is being taken by government. In that sense, it is worse than Kerala. In Andhra, you have separate legislation for separate temples. Tirupati is governed by one law. Some other temple is governed by, the Lakshmi Kovil temple or Govindaraja temple by some other act, some other committee. This type of loose structure is there throughout India. Therefore, common cases are practically not possible. Of course, you can have exchange of ideas. And legal fight also is some sort of frankly saying, it is a personal conviction also. A point which I am going to argue in Supreme Court may not impress you. You will say that अरे मोहनदास आप छोड़ दो, ऐसा कुछ काम नहीं होने वाला ऐसा. But I am convinced I will go to court with that point. So the legal points are basically personalized points also. That is why Dr. Swami is the lead petitioner and I am the second petitioner in Supreme Court. So that Dr. Swami will raise certain points and not me, my advocate will raise some other points. You don't know which point will be caught by the judges and you will get a favorable judgment. So ultimately, it is an individual with fire in his belly who goes for a legal fight because it is so protracted, so tiresome, and financially also it is a burden on you. Therefore, it is a highly individualistic operation. A common platform may help increasing the confidence, but ultimately it is an individual who is fighting in the court. But you may create a good banner for All India purpose, like Acharya Dharma Sabha, of which I told you Dr. Swami is the legal advisor, so that it creates an impression in the minds of judges that this man is representing a huge section of the society. But when they go into the intricacies of the case, whether you represent as an individual devotee or a group doesn't matter much. Therefore, let us not think of common cases, etc. In fact, there is a common case pending in Supreme Court for freeing all temples in principle. That was filed by the great saint Dayan Saraswati. Before his death, he entrusted to continue the case and he gave power of attorney to Dr. Swami. And Dr. Swami will continue with that case in place of Dayananda Saraswati. Generally,
Mohandas
when a
ji,
litigant dies,
Mohandas
the
ji,
case also dies.
Mohandas
Yes.
ji, I'm the AOR in that matter.
Hi.
I'm Suvidat. I'm Suvidat.
Hi. I could not see you. That's why. I thought it is some, though you said you are in Supreme Court, I could not recognize your voice
No.
because
I
telephone
think
voice is
no.
bit
That
different from
somebody else
clubhouse
was
voice.
raising that voice. No. I was just trying to intervene to say that I'm the advocate on record who
Yeah,
filed that case for Dayanand Saraswati, and that
yeah.
matter is pending. Pleadings have been over in that matter. A couple of legislations are, the constitutionality of a couple of legislations are challenged. The Tamil Nadu HR, then Andhra, Pondicherry, Telangana. So these places, Hindu Religious and Charitable Institution Act has been challenged. So I think it's since pending
The
since
challenging,
2013.
challenging the
Constitutionality.
constitutionality in the Supreme Court is a dangerous thing to do. That is my opinion. You
It's
challenge the
pending since 2013.
constitutionality, and if they want not to interfere, they will refer it to a constitutional bench or margaya. To form the constitutional bench, they will take 5 years, and for hearing the case, another 5 years.
We'll
Anyway,
see to it. But anyway, because the Shabrimala matter is also pending, because that is also referred to a larger bench. So anyway, now owing to this COVID for the last 1.5 years, no constitutional bench matters have been taken. I mean, barring very few. But the Hindu temple related matters are not being taken. This year, I don't think any of the matters will be taken. I mean, the large, bench matters. Neither Shabrimala nor this Dayanand Saraswati matter, nor I think your matter. I mean, with Subramania Swami's Devasam matter. Well,
Sridhar
anyways,
sir, Mr. Sridhar sir, we will come back to you once again. Thanks for the inputs. We will have the next question by Mr.
thank you.
Harish.
Yeah, namaste, Mohandas and all. So my question here is why can't we can have a template post freeing the temples from the clutches of government? So what happens is there will be chaos, like what kind of rules or set has to be done. So again, they may indulge in the corruption or something like that. So just wanted to know, like, you can have a framework template to be what do you say, like, can published, so how to manage the temple, and then with the respect to regional temple, they can continue with their own way. Just my thoughts on that. Any comments on this, please?
okay, it's a good thought, but this is not the right time to do that. The whole focus will be shifted from freeing the temple to the issue which we are raising, how to administer temples once it is freed. पहले होने दो ना, हम बाद में देखेंगे. अब ये फ्री करने के लिए हम ट्राई कर रहे हैं, and that effort has not reached anywhere. So once it reaches near success, then we will discuss creating a scheme how to make it. There are a lot of suggestions already available, in the shape of several commissions instituted by Government of India and various states. You just go through the commissions, make a scheme which is suitable for Kerala temples or Malabar temples or part of Karnataka temples or Bundelkhand temples. You can make, for example, Maharashtra. Maharashtra is broadly three sections: Vidarbha, Khandesh, and Marathwada. You can have different type of administration for these three cultural sections. तो ऐसा कर सकते हैं, ये कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. Don't worry about that. Why
Okay,
I am
Mr.
saying this?
Before going for
This
the
is
next
not the time
question,
of starting that discussion.
Sir, can I make a point, please?
Yes, sir.
hello.
So, with your permission, you've explained the course of your petitions and the course it has taken, the delay cost and the perpetual delay that may likely to happen, likely to be there. Of late, see, if you look at the kind of judgments which and the decrees which have come from the courts, I would say these are all, most of them are subject to further convenient interpretations, or if I can call it and see, many of them are arbitrary. So, as I had pointed out, the war for this particular intervention has to be on multiple fronts. One, as you said, it is judicial. Second is consolidation of religious institutions and bodies of devotees. But I think, and see, there has to be a most influencing factor, I guess, is political will. Don't we have to take some kind of an initiative in that direction also to influence the people who matters for a fair settlement in this matter, sir?
Yes, definitely. Politicians, especially the ruling class, can bring big changes, especially in Hindu society, by passing appropriate legislation in parliament as well as assemblies. Sometimes court may intervene or may not. They may keep quiet if it is a positive development. Even if somebody rushes to the court may not entertain it immediately. So I wish those interested politicians take appropriate initiative, and they can definitely, if there is a political will, so many things can be done. But I think there is somewhere some lack of will is obvious now.
Can I ask my
Thank
question?
you, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Uday, please go on.
Yeah. Mohandas, it's a pleasure to listen to you once again. Two issues we confront with the solution that you have tried to provide is the first thing is temple next to my home is either not sacred to me or I'm not connected. But but there are places, I mean, away where I'm actually connected. It's like he's politicizing a sacred place. Since I will not have a say in it, is a solution. Is my point.
This is why I told in my answer for the previous question that this is not the time to discuss the solution. If you start discussing the solution, this type of anxieties will come out. I have my affinity towards Tirupati. I go to Tirupati every 6 months from Kerala,
Right.
but I have no role in the administration of Tirupati and where to tell my grievance. This is all. This scheme is not acceptable to me, etc., etc. All these anxieties will come out, and we will lose our focus from freeing the temple, and it will become a quarrel amongst ourselves. That is why I didn't encourage that discussion.
But how do we
I
come to
told
that?
you broadly how things can be done, and if some changes are to be made, well, let us do that. But not now. Starting a discussion is not going to help us now, except that you have your wish. You would like to have a role in the administration of a temple which is far, far away from your house. Okay, well, nothing wrong in that. How to incorporate in the scheme is a different question which we can sit together and sort out. Why should I object to your wish of administering a temple, whether it is near to you or far away from you? I will definitely welcome your participation in the administration also. If it can be done in a good manner, well, let us do that. We must be open to every idea while speaking about administration of temple. We should keep aside our little small selfishness whatsoever in our mind. अरे ये तो इतना दूर से आता है, इसको क्यों हम एंटरटेन करेंगे? उसको आने दो, लेकिन he should not be given a role. ऐसा नहीं सोचना है. Think of Hindu society as a whole. Every small and big man should have a role in every administration of every temple. Imagine how such a scheme can work. After all, you cannot have a temple being run by 130 crores of people. No, you need representatives. तो वो representation कैसा workout करना है सोच लो, and you will find a solution, an amicable solution. उसमें भी complaint आता है, we will reform ourselves. ऐसा चलता रहेगा. You cannot make a full stop at somewhere and say that enough is enough. अब इसके बाद I will not take in a suggestion. ऐसा नहीं है. It is a continuous process. So entertain every opinion, and we will find a solution one day. But in my opinion, if you start the discussion now, that is going to create more fissures than what you expect. It will create serious fissures within the Hindu society. Caste will come into play. I know when I am fighting this case, the caste leaders in Kerala, at least one leader, confidentially asked me, भाई ठीक है, केरला के टेम्पल अगर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन गवर्नमेंट से डिवोटी के हाथों में आ गया तो मेरा कास्ट को कितना टेम्पल मिलेगा? He plainly asked me. He said, I am prepared to support this movement whatsoever. Even your case, I will support, provided you give me a rough idea of how many temples will come to my caste. So I know the ramification of that question, and the fissures it is going to create in Hindu society will be too much beyond your expectation. So let us not start that discussion now. Time आने दो, time है, हम हैं, discuss करेंगे उसका.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Arun, did you ask the question? Mr. Arun? Okay.
Arun, we can't hear you. So I think some technical issue on your side. So Rakesh, can you please go on?
Namaskaram, sir. Rakesh here. In the recent writ petition judgment by the Madras High Court, 574 by 2015, it said all the temples and the mutts of recent 100 years should be declared as a national monuments from the central government in spirit and letter through Ancient Monuments Act. Can you please highlight on this matter, sir?
I don't know. I'm not aware. What is the use of declaring it an ancient monument?
No,
In my understanding, this type of monuments, the administration and maintenance will be taken over by Archaeological Society of India, and you will not have any role at all. If they maintain it very well, it is good. Otherwise, it will get dilapidated one day. That is my understanding. If something more is there, you can tell me.
that's all, sir. I just wanted to say, is this an act of the judiciary to take over, the government take over through complete legal means by interfering the Archaeological Survey of India? That's all.
Yeah, but see, there are huge temples under Archaeological Survey of India also. Some temples, they are, I must admit, they are maintaining it very well without any disturbance to the devotees who are coming there for worship. All things are going smooth. The few temples are there where Archaeological Survey of India is sluggish also. Not only Hindu structures, but they have Islamic structures also, Buddhist structures also under them. So it depends on the regional officers who look after the office. If the officer is efficient, well, good. Otherwise, if there is a lazy officer, he may damage it also. But people also take care of ancient monuments now better than what it used to be some 25 years ago. अब थोड़ा बहुत awareness आ गया है हिंदू society में भी, and as citizens also we treat our monuments in a better manner. जब मैं कॉलेज में पढ़ता था, I went to this Qutub Minar and various places in Delhi, even Red Fort वगैरह. At that time, I had a feeling that how shabby things are, but now they have improved a lot. People themselves are self-disciplined now. अरे भाई ये बहुत पुराना है, इसको डिस्ट्रॉय मत करना. नहीं तो जहां जाओ आप आई लव यू एटसेट्रा लिखा रहता होगा. लेकिन अब नहीं है वो सब ठीक हो गया है. People also behave in a civilized manner while visiting ancient monuments.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Satish Sharma ji, do you have any question? If you have, please go ahead.
I guess he left. Okay. And the next, Mr. Harsh. Okay.
Hello, sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please
Yeah,
go.
thank you. First of all, thank you, Mohandas ji, for an excellent talk. And it's great to see the huge amount of commendable work that is being done by you and many others, individuals and organizations. You did mention about the challenges that Hindus face, particularly with regards to the ecosystem. And I do understand what you meant by unification as the key to success. Now, my question is that, as you rightly said, that this is not the first time that Sanatan Dharma has faced challenges. And long time ago, Adi Shankaracharya showed us the way when Hindu Dharma was on the wane, and he vitalized it and sort of rekindled the energy into Sanatan Dharma. I mean, bearing that in mind, do you feel that there is a role for the four Shankaracharyas as well to unify the Hindu society and go to the people who are increasingly turning away from Dharma? And the Shankaracharyas could also be the custodians of Dharma. So when there are issues like issue of temples or any other dharmic issues, not only the people but the government will also have to listen to them. What do you feel about that? Should they reclaim their role as custodians of Dharma?
For reclaiming as custodians of Dharma, they have to acquire that moral stature. It's bad luck for Hindu society that we have failed to generate real sannyasis for the past several years. We have great acharyas sitting in ashrams in their cozy comfort. They travel in luxurious cars. They do various charitable activities, which we call great, but their cultural contribution or national contribution is next to nothing. I will not make my comment. I will quote Sadhu Ritambara, who, in a public speech during Ramajanma Bhoomi movement, that sannyasini spoke thus कि भाई मैं हमारे सन्यासी लोगों से कहती हूँ कि आपको ये घी में डुबो डुबो कर हमने पूरी खिलाया है, वो अगर कुत्ते को दिया होता तो पूंछ तो हिलाता था समाज के लिए, और आप लोग इतने चुप बैठे हैं कि कुत्तों को भी शर्म आती है. That was what a sannyasini told. I will not use such harsh words against our own acharyas, but I remember the punch dialogue by Sadhu Ritambara at that time, when the Hindu society was up in arms for fighting against Islamic and Islamic fundamentalists are predictable, but secular fundamentalists are unpredictable and therefore more dangerous in India. We were fighting against Islamic fundamentalists and secular fundamentalists at that time, and the support from Acharyas was not up to the mark. Therefore, she exploded on them. These Acharyas must ascertain their moral authority. It was so in India. The king was never supreme. When king was ordained, there is a shloka, Sanskrit shloka, which will be in the meaning that